One of the interesting things that I think I've figured out in my travels dealing with wild animals is the relative danger of being exposed to these critters. Generally speaking, you're not really at danger. Misguided feeding response possibly. You get in between those who are protecting the herd and the herd itself. There's things that can happen, but if you stay aware of where you are and what you're doing, it's relatively safe. Oddly enough, the #1 killer of people in Africa is hippopotamus. I got very close to several hippos. They look kind of laid back and, fat, but they're evidently pretty dangerous if you're not careful. One of the divisions that I've discovered in my travels is the difference between a guy and a gal when it comes to being aggressive. I was in South Africa and we were in an open Jeep and got into a herd of elephants. And one of the young guys was really showing up. He was wagging his ears and his trunk and stomping, showing off like a boy does. And our driver called another driver who had a Jeep out with some people in it. And so they came over to see the elephants as well. As soon as they got there, the boy saw them and made a charge right down the little trail we were on and going full blast until he got to the Jeep and suddenly stopped, shrugged his shoulders and walked off. He'd made his point. He wasn't really wanting to hurt anybody, just wanted to show off. Girls are a little different than that sometimes. If you ever get close to or in between a mama and her baby, that is the one truly dangerous situation you can get in. I've been climbing in the Himalayas and came down into India, staying in a small village in a national park, and rode across the river in a dugout canoe to camera hunt. And the grass was very tall there, and so if something was real big even and close to you, you wouldn't be able to see it. As a matter of fact, when I got off the canoe, there was a big tiger paw print. But I never saw the tiger. It could have been 3 inches away or 3 miles away as far as I knew because of this high grass. They only cut twice a year for thatching roofs and feeding animals. So I'm walking through there and a guide who had come across with me came to me and said, go down this stream, and I did. And there was a baby rhinoceros playing in the water. So I got it pretty close and I'm taking pictures of the little fella, and suddenly everything behind him goes gray. And I look up over my camera and there's Mamacita, who has figured out now that I am close to and paying attention to her baby. So she takes the baby up into the jungles and then comes back to confront me and staring at me. And you could almost see in her brain going, kill the tourist, go to my baby, tourist baby. Eventually, it looked almost as if she shrugged her shoulders. She turned around and went back into the jungles where her child was. So I walked off unscathed with a pretty good picture of Mamacita. So those are some of the stories that led me to believe that the traditional comic book description of the real dangers of the wild generally are either a mistake, like it thinks you're game until it's too late and is bitten you, or you put yourself in a position where they feel they have to protect themselves or their own. And the #1 of that is the female taking care of her baby. I see that true as us humans as well.